Esau stole this land from, well, who did he steal this land from? Who did Esau steal this land from? How do you acquire this land that we in America? How do you acquire it? With what? He made a deal with it with jelly beans or with beads, right? He made a contract with the Native Americans and said, I'll buy Louisiana for some beads. That's mockery. He didn't buy no Louisiana with any beads. The pilgrims and the Indians did not sit down together and have Thanksgiving dinner and sing Kumbaya. That didn't happen. What happened was bloodshed, right? Genocide. He came in this land with his conquerors, with his misfits and his jailbirds, and took this land. Okay, with bloodshed. Right? That's how this land was taken. Our land wasn't so. Our land was given to us by the Most High. Was promised to us by Him. Okay, so we have a spiritual ownership to the land that today is called, in the Middle East, which is called Israel, Jordan. What's the other lands that's over there? Israel, Jordan, Lebanon. All those lands are your land. Okay, that's your land. All right, read on.
Verse 15. In Genesis 28:15. And behold, I am with thee, and will keep thee in all places, whither thou goest. And will bring thee again into this land.
Right, he said he's going to bring you again into this land. Okay, that's the motherland. All the years we've been taught Africa was the motherland. Oh, Africa, that's the motherland. Africa is not the motherland. All right, hold that and get Galatians 4:26. Galatians 4:26.
The book of Galatians, chapter 4, verse 26. Galatians 4 and verse 26. But Jerusalem, which is above, is free.
Right.
Which is the mother.
Which is the what?
The mother.
Which is the mother, read on.
Of us all.
Of us all, man. Jerusalem is our motherland. And it's above and it's free. Okay, that's our motherland. Okay, that's the land that belongs to us as a people. Right? And the Father said he's going to give it to Jacob and return him back to this land. So the land was being promised before Jacob was, that land was promised to the Most High's chosen seed. When the Father designed the borders of this earth, matter of fact, let's get that. Give me Jeremiah. Give me Jeremiah. Was it 30? He set the bounds of the sea according to the children of Israel.
Deuteronomy.
30:28. 30:28. Deuteronomy 30:28.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32 and verse 8. Deuteronomy 32 and verse 8. When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance.
Right, when the Most High decided where nations are. Okay, he divided to the nations their inheritance. He gave an area for the children of Ham. He gave an area for the children of Japheth. He gave an area for the children of Shem. And in the midst of Shem, he gave an area for Israel, Esau. What land did he give Esau? What land was Esau's land? Who remembers? Mount Seir, right? Right. That's where they get the name Caucasian from. Where's that come from? It comes from the Caucasus Mountains of South Georgia, Russia, which in biblical times was Mount Seir. Okay, that's where he's from. That land was given to him. That's where he belonged. Right? He all over the earth, but the only place he really can say was his land is Mount Seir. Okay. Read on.
When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel.
Mm-hmm.
For the Most High's portion is his people.
For the Most High's portion is his people. All right, the children of Israel, you belong to the Father. He just selected us. We're his portion. Everybody's not the Most High's portion. He's not the God of everybody. He's the God of Israel. Everybody understand that? When you understand what God you serve, the God you serve is not the God of everybody. He's the God of Israel. Okay, let's prove that further. Now give me Jeremiah. All right? Yeah, Jeremiah was a God of Israel. 30, 31 and 1. Isaiah 31 and 1. I mean, Jeremiah 31 and 1. So.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 31, verse 1. Jeremiah 31 and verse 1. At the same time, saith the Most High, will I be the power of all the families of Israel,
right?
And they shall be my people.
Right. He said he's the power of all the families of Israel. All right. What is that talking about? The 12 tribes of Israel, whom you are. He's your God. That's why he's the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the power of Israel. That's his name. That's who your God is. Okay. The word God is a title. It's not a name, right? Right? In the Hebrew, the word God is Allah, right? Just like what was the Muslims say Allah. That's what the word, that's how you say it in Hebrew. That's a Hebrew word, actually. Allah is God, right? Or Al-Hayim, God. Al-Hayim, the gods, the powers. Okay? That's God. That's a title. That's not his name. He is the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's who he is. All right? Yahweh is his name. He is. All right? He exists. That's his name. All right? So you got to know the God that you serve. What God do you serve? You serve Yahweh, the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's the God you serve. Our people in the church system, in the mosques, in the temples, they serving other gods. You don't even realize that, but that's what they do. Our people keeping the Thanksgivings and the Christmases and the Halloweens, you're serving other gods. You're not serving the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob because that God never told you to do these things. Okay? So understanding what God we serve is important. So now you understand why you keep the Shabbat day, why you dress in modest apparel, why you put on fringes and borders of blue. Because you serve that God, the God that told us to do these things. Okay? That's our power. Read that again in Jeremiah.
Jeremiah chapter 31, verse 1. At the same time, saith the Most High, will I be the power of all the families of Israel,
right?
And they shall be my people.
And they shall be my people. You are God's chosen people. You are Yahweh's chosen people. That's why he put his name on you. Your name is Yasharallah. He put his name on his people. Yah is his name. All right. Somebody tell you Yah is not his name. They are not knowing the scriptures. Okay. Because he said he put his name on his city and his people. How do you say Jerusalem in Hebrew? Yarashalom. Okay. You are Yasharallah. His name is Yahweh. His son's name is Yahweh. You see, his name is in everything that's of him. Okay, his name is in everything that's of him. So we understand that. Now we understand the connection. All right, now give me Joel 2.
The book of Joel, chapter 2, verse 27. Joel 2 and verse 27. And ye shall know that I am in the midst of Israel, and that I am Yahweh, your power, and none else.
Right.
And my people shall never be ashamed.
My people shall never. I'm in the midst of you and nobody else. So by these scriptures, these precepts, show you without a shadow of a doubt who's the Most High Yahweh with. Who's he with? He's with Israel. And who else? And no one else. He's with Israel and no one else. That's clear through the precepts of the Holy Scriptures, of the Bible. And that's why we have to depend upon our precepts, the word, to make decisions, to understand, to bring forth understanding. We can't be coming off the top of the head, how we feel, what we think. We got to have these precepts. Okay? We got to have these precepts. Right? So now you know without a shadow of a doubt, according to the precepts that you've been given, that he is our power, the power of Israel, and nobody else. Okay? And the land of Israel was given unto you. And no other nation belongs in that land but the children of Israel. But right now, today, who's in that land? Esau, Ishmael, Elam, all these other nations are in our land. We are barely in the land. Ham is in the land. Everybody's there. Israel like a little melting pot. Everybody's over there setting up shop, claiming ownership of our land. With most of our people, we don't even look to that land as our land. We're looking towards Egypt, Egyptology. We're looking for Kemet. We're looking for Syria, right? When Israel is our land. All right? Give me Luke. Get the book of Luke. Luke 21:24. Luke 21, verse 24. When you say you're going home, a lot of people say, I'm going back home. Home is Israel. That's your home. All right? We've had homes throughout our generations as we move throughout this earth. But our true home, our true motherland is Israel. Okay? Read that.
The book of Luke, chapter 21, verse 22. Luke 21 and verse 22. For these be the days of vengeance, that all these things which are written may be fulfilled.
Read.
But woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days.
So the days of vengeance is talking about when the Most High was going to repay Israel for their disobedience. That's the days of vengeance it's talking about. When we were being paid for our disobedience. All right, read on.
For there shall be great distress,
right,
and wrath upon this people, and they shall fall by the edge of the sword,
right,
and they shall be led away captive.
So what is this talking about? The time period is referred to as 70 AD. You got your Babylon? 70 AD, there was great distress in the land. And Israel fell by the edge of the sword. Okay. And it's depicted in the history books. Right. You got it? I'm going to read it out of Babylon, Timbuktu. It's a history book. Hold on, sir. From Babylon to Timbuktu by Rudolph Windsor, right? It's a history book that has a lot of our history where scholars, right, archaeologists took their findings and recorded it in this history book. And it echoes what the scriptures say. So that's how we know that it's accurate. Because had we picked up a history book that did not echo what the scriptures say, then we know that it's what? It's inaccurate. Because the Bible is what? That's the base that we base all things off of. The Bible is the foundation. Any other knowledge you acquire, it has to what? Coincide with what the scriptures say. If it doesn't, then it might be tainted or false. All right? Tell them where you're at in the book.
I'm on page 84. Yeah, page 84. It says, in the year 65 BC, the Roman armies under General Pompey captured Jerusalem. In 70 AD, General Vespasian and his son Titus put an end to the Jewish state.
They what?
Put an end to the Jewish state.
They put an end to our nation, our state, the way we were set up. They put an end to it with what? Read.
With great slaughter.
With what?
Great slaughter.
With great slaughter. Mean that what? Esau has been coming at us since 70 AD. A lot of people would look at slavery as if it started, or our fight with Esau as if it started with in the 1500s or 1492. We've been battling with Esau since 70 AD.
From Genesis 20.
Even before that. You go back to Genesis. From the womb.
That's right. In the womb.
We've been battling against this man from the womb, from Genesis. So we can't even look at our fight starting with slavery. That's the ignorance of our people. They don't realize we've been battling against the white man way before slavery. Right now, we're talking about 70 AD. We can go in the scriptures and go back to Rebecca's womb. We're fighting against this man. Okay? There's been battles. So what makes us think that one day he's going to decide to say, you know what, we're going to be brother and sister. All right? Brother and brother, sister and sister. We're going to hold hands. All right? Hands across America. Right? We're going to sing together. Right? That's that dream that was given by Martin Luther King was a nightmare. Because if we join together with somebody, if you're joined together with somebody that hates you, what are they going to do to you? Slowly but surely, they're going to what? They're going to sort to your demise, or your downfall, or your hurt, or your distress. Slowly but surely. They're not going to straight up kill you, but maybe they can't straight up kill you. But they're going to constantly be at you and against you. They're going to set up policies. They're going to set up things to make you fail. They're going to teach you lies. You can't expect them to tell you the truth. Why? Because they hate you from Rebecca's womb. A lot of our people have a hard time with that understanding. They don't realize this is the case. But once you know the scriptures and the history, you know that this turmoil between the so-called black man, white man, it goes way beyond, slavery and our experiences with them in this country. It goes back to biblical times. Okay, it goes back to the very inception of these two nations. Okay, the creation of these two nations. The conception of Rebecca's womb. That's how long we've been battling with these nations. So that is never going to end. There will never be a time on this earth where Esau and Jacob is holding hands and skipping. Right? In all righteousness. We can do it in wickedness, but you can't do it in righteousness. Okay? You can't do it in righteousness. It should turn your stomach when you see, who's that? What was that, Serena Williams?
Yeah, Serena.
Right? All hugged up with Esau.
And the other sister
right?
did it too.
And who else?
The other sister.
Well, she the other sister did it, but she just promoting this thing. She's just making this thing out to be like she's trying to establish something.
Yeah.
So she put herself in the limelight. I'm not peeking in her house. She put her house on a billboard. So now we're going to talk about it because you want to be talked about. Okay? But she's setting it forth like it's oppressive. This is the way to be. Okay? To love your oppressor. To have children with your oppressor. Okay? She used to be black power. She used to be putting up the fists. She used to have an afro out. People don't remember that screen. Crip walking, right? Blowout on her hair, black fist, black power, standing up. Now what? She gave her spirit over to Esau.
All lives matter.
Now all lives matter. Right? Right? To show you how they infiltrate and break down those images, they affect our little children, man. You may not realize how much effect those images that they keep pumping about her hugged up with Esau, holding that white baby in her hand. That thing is infecting the minds of our children. So now when our children, they go to school, they in the school system, they got Esau, they got Jacob all around them, they don't feel no connection to their own people. In fact, if they looked up to a woman like Serena, they would want to walk in her steps. Right? That's what you do when you admire somebody. You say, well, they're going to be a role model. She's a role model for a lot of young sisters. She's on top of her game in tennis. But now look what she does with that. She makes a mockery of herself and her people. Okay? That's a mockery. Right? So we have to be mindful of these things. All right? We got to teach our children otherwise. So you see that? Tell your children, that's not the way to go. All right? That sister took the talent and the strength that the Most High gave her and gave it on to her enemy. And promoting it for our young daughters to follow suit. So we got to be mindful that that's not the way. Come? You know?
All right, from reading again from Babylon to Timbuktu. In the year 65 BC, the Roman armies under General Pompey captured Jerusalem. In 70 AD, General Vespasian and his son Titus put the end to the Jewish state with great slaughter.
So General Vespasian and Titus, these are Roman, Greco-Roman generals, right? That came in and invaded our country and put an end to our state with great slaughter, killed us. You ever heard of something in Europe called the catacombs? These are tunnels under the ground, right, throughout Rome and you know, even in Israel. The catacombs are a network of tunnels under the ground in which a lot of the Hebrews hid themselves. But then were found, were killed down there and hung. And you see the outprint of their bodies within the walls in the catacombs to this day. Okay? So you can look up the catacombs and you'll see what I'm talking about. We don't.
During the period of the military governors of Palestine, many outrageous and atrocities were committed against the residue of the people.
Right.
During the period from Pompey to Julius, it has been estimated that over 1 million Jews fled into Africa.
Right. So that's when we entered into Africa. Why? Because we had to flee out of our land. So we traveled south, and that's how we ended up being in Africa for, you know, was close to 1,400 years. All right. We dwelt in the northern and western coast of Africa. All right. Read on.
Fleeing from Roman persecution.
Fleeing from what?
Roman persecution.
So we were running from Esau from back then. Fleeing Roman persecution. Read on.
And slavery.
And what?
Slavery.
So what? They started slavery back then. They were enslaving the children of Israel. Okay? So slavery did not start in the 1492 or the 1500s. We're talking about 70 AD. All right, read on.
The slave markets were full of black Jewish slaves.
The slave market full of what?
Black Jewish slaves.
The slave markets were full of black Jewish slaves. Okay. The markets were full of black Jewish slaves. So those blacks that came from Africa to America were what? Were Jews. Your forefathers were Jews. Okay, that's why we're waking up to the fact now that when it says Jews, it's short for what? Judah, not for Jewish. When it says black, that were Jews, it's really referring to Judah. All right, they write Jewish because that's what they understand, but that's what the author has brought forth to bring understanding to our culture. But we are not Jewish. Jewish, Esau is Jewish, right? Ishmael pertaining to or like. We are the real Jews according to the Bible. Everybody understand that? All right, let's go back.
And Luke 21 and 24.
Come.
Luke 21 and 24.
Come.
And they shall fall by the edge of the sword.
And they shall what?
Fall by the edge of the sword.
So this is what it's talking about, us falling by the edge of the sword. In Israel, we had our land, but we fell by the edge of the sword. Read on.
And shall be led away captive.
And shall be what?
Led away captive.
And we were led out of the land, what? Captives. Read on.
Into all nations.
Into what?
Into all nations.
Unto all nations. So that's how we spread it to the four corners of the earth. We got taken out of our land. Like you said, our Jewish state was brought to an end with great slaughter. Read on.
And Jerusalem shall be trodden down,
right,
of the Gentiles.
And Jerusalem to this day is trodden down by the Gentiles. Who are the Gentiles? All non-Israelite nations are considered Gentiles. Okay. That's who lives in Israel now. It's trodden down by the Gentiles. We have little areas where we are, but what? All these nations, Ham is out there, Ishmael, Elam, Esau, all are in the land of Israel. It's a melting pot now. Okay? It's a melting pot. It was never meant to be so. It was supposed to be all your land. Right? As he spoke unto Jacob, he said, all this land from the east, the west, the north, and the south belong to you. This is what he told Jacob. But through what? Military conquest and by the sword has these nations worked their way in there. Following the coattails of Esau. Okay? They worked their way in and set up and try to establish their land. They got the Arabs bombing the white man, talking about he don't belong there. Well, you don't belong there either. Both of y'all need to get out. Right? The Most High is going to evict both of them. Right? That's the reality of it. So then meanwhile they fighting, it's like two fighting over stolen land. They don't belong to neither one of y'all. All right? Let's go back to Genesis. All right.
They shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled.
Until what?
Until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled.
Until their time is up. And their time is coming close to being up. Hallelujah. The time of the Gentiles has been fulfilled, man. Their wickedness has reached up to heaven. Most High, when it's time for him to bring their drama, he's going to take them out that land. They ain't going to be in that land no more. Matter of fact, give me Lamentations real quick before we get back to Genesis. Give me Lamentations. Lamentations. We got to understand, this time is changing. What we seeing, as you seeing wickedness increasing and Israel increasing at the same time, is because this thing is coming to an end. All right? This punishment, this captivity is coming to an end.
The book of Lamentations, chapter 4, verse 22.
Come.
Lamentations 4 and verse 22. For the punishment of thy iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion.
Right, so we read about, in Luke, that what? Our distress has come. So our distress came upon the nation, and we were distressed by these nations. All the nations took part in distressing the children of Israel. But now it's over. Esau is the last kingdom to have us in a distressed state. From here on in, there will be no more distressing the children of Israel. Everybody understand that? Read.
The punishment of thy iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion.
Right, we went through our punishment. Read on.
He will no more carry thee away into captivity.
Right, come on.
He will visit thy iniquity, O daughter of Edom.
Or who?
O daughter of Edom.
Who the daughter of Edom is talking about? What? The so-called Caucasian. Right? Calls himself the white man, calls himself this. His punishment is coming. All right, read on.
O daughter of Zion, he will no more carry thee away into captivity.
Right.
He will visit thy iniquity, O daughter of Edom. He will discover thy sins.
Right, he will discover thy sins. So what? What does it mean to discover? That means what? His sins are going to be made what? Made widely known. Right? So the secrets is out. Okay? Right now, every time you turn on the TV, another executive or politician or record executive, Hollywood executive coming out. Oh man. Yeah, he molested me too. Yeah, he touched me too. Yeah, he slipped me a Mickey. Bad things happen in his office. Every time you turn the TV, is another one being exposed. All right. Because what? His sins are being what? Discovered. They're being what? Open, and so everybody can see how evil and wicked. He always been evil and wicked, but he had a good way of what? Covering it up. Right? The Catholic Church is notorious for covering up how those priests be molesting the little boys, altering the altar boys. Right? All these sins he's doing throughout the earth are now being what? It's going to be so much that all the nations start to look at each other like, damn, you're a filthy man. And no one can hide you now. You can't hide it no more. Everybody's coming out. It's going to be, if you didn't see it by now, but it's going to be a household word. Everybody's going to know, oh, them wicked, evil Edomites. Right? All the nations are going to say that, not just Israel. We the first ones to say it. We've been saying it for so long. We've been telling, how long have we been telling the people that it's straight homosexuality pushing all these industries? We've been saying this for decades. Now people are starting to wonder, like, man, you know what? There's a lot of homosexuality going on. Right? A lot of pedophiles, a lot of rape, a lot of fornication, every way, shape, or form. Okay? And it's going to become more prevalent and more evident. People that they looked up to, some of these politicians and generals and armies and all that kind of people thought, oh, this is surely not him. Now he's stepping down. I'm going to have to step down because some things came out. Right?
You know what killed me the most, man? Is that they get up there and start being all apologetic. Everything they all sorry. They mean it. That's a bunch of lies. They just mad because they got caught. That's all. That's why they say they sorry, because they got caught.
They sorry they got caught.
They didn't get caught. They still be slipping Mickeys and doing everything else.
Well, everything they would do.
But look what they did to Bill Cosby. Smearing his name, they wiped his name off all the colleges. What are they doing to them? Slap on the wrist.
That's it. That's it. Remember what they do on the scriptures always, when the Gentiles try to do unto us, get being done right back onto their own men. They said, oh, you want to expose? Okay, let's expose them. All right? Most High, everything being exposed. Let's open up every door. Let's see what's really going on in Capitol Hill. All of them screaming foul play. Right? Why? Because this is what's been going on all through history. Right? It's not that people are worse than they are today than they were yesterday. They're just as bad. It's just coming out. All right? Let's get back to Genesis.
Genesis 28, verse 15. Genesis 28, verse 15. And behold, I am with thee, and will keep thee in all places where thou goest.
Come on.
And will bring thee again into this land. For I will not leave thee until I have done that which I have spoken to thee.
Right, so what? The Most High is with us. Wherever we are, the Most High is with us. Okay? Whatever land we were spread to, the Father is there with us. He said, I will not leave thee until this is fulfilled. You know, wherever you spread to Israel, I'm there too. That's how he had preserved us. That's why none of these nations could eradicate us or get rid of us. When Esau came over here, he tried to rid the earth of the Native American, the Gadites, the Reubenites, right? Issachar, right? Zebulun, Ephraim, Manasseh. He tried to get rid of them. Couldn't. He said, man, as much as I kill them, they just keep coming back. Germ warfare. He tried everything. Drugs, policies. He tried to exterminate us in every way, shape, and possible. Can't do it. Why? Because the Father said, I'm going to be with them wherever they get spread. So as many times you try to get rid of them, they're going to be right there. Okay. Read on.
Genesis 28:16. And Jacob awake out of his sleep, and he said, surely the Most High is in this place, and I knew it not. And he was afraid, and said, how dreadful is this place? This is none other but the house of the Most High. And this is the gate of heaven. And Jacob rose up early in the morning and took the stone that he had put for his pillows and set it up for a pillar and poured oil upon the top of it. And he called the name of that place Bethel. But the name of that city was called Luz at the first. And Jacob.
Right, so Bethel. He called it Bethel. Right? What does that mean? In Hebrew, what would that be? That's right, a house of the Most High God. Right, saying it. Right? Right? Beth in the ancient Hebrew is Bayath. Right? El is Al, power. The Father's place, the power's place. That's what he calls them. So you see Beth, in the more modern Hebrew, that is house. Okay, when you see Beth, anytime you see Beth, it means house. Everybody understand that? In the ancient Hebrew, it's Bayath. Okay? And El is Al, or Allah, which means what? The power, the Most High. Okay? So Bethel, like it says Bethlehem, right? You see, it's the house. All right? So when you start to get more familiar with Hebrew, you see these names. All these names you come across in the scriptures have meaning. And the meaning coincides with why they named it what they named it. All right? We didn't just name areas random names. Okay? The names had meaning and reason. Somebody go? See somebody there? Somebody go around? You probably got the address, but you got to go around to the back. So what do your brothers go around to the yeah. Let them go around. You can't see your hand out. Yo, send one of your brothers to go around. Somebody just went? Israel went? All right, come on. Israel got him. I tell you. Read on. Is a homeless guy? Oh, all right. I thought somebody looking for the spot. Because, our address is to this street, but they can't get in from this side. So. All right, read. He also said this is the gate of heaven. Let me look at that real quick too. He said this is the gate of heaven. All right, so the gate is what? The entrance. That's where the gates are going to be set up. That's where heaven is going to be established on the earth. A lot of people wonder where heaven is going to be on earth. It's going to be in Bethel. This is where the gates are going to be established. This is where the Most High put his name in that area, that land, because that's where he's going to establish Jerusalem. That's where he's going to establish Zion. That's where the gates are going to be established. So it was always set up that way. Okay, the 12 gates are going to be here. What is those gates to? The gates of heaven. All right? The gates of heaven mean the gates of Jerusalem, the gates of Zion. That's when you hear about the gates of heaven, that's what it's talking about. Right? It's not talking about the spiritual heaven. Spiritual heaven doesn't need a gate. Right? It's going to be the heaven, the kingdom of heaven, when you walk through the gates. We had the 12 gates. All right? So this is what he's referring to here. All right, read on.
Genesis 20, verse 20.
Come on.
And Jacob vowed a vow, saying, the Most High will be with me and will keep me in this way that I go, and will give me bread to eat and raiment to put on, so that I can come again to my father's house in peace. Then shall the Most High be my power.
Right.
And this stone which I have set for a pillar shall be the Most High's house, and of all that thou shalt give me, I will surely give the tenth.
I will give what?
The tenth unto thee.
So wait, hold on, listen. Because people, in Israel, there's different understandings. But read that last verse one more time, 22 verse.
Genesis 28, verse 22. And this stone which I have set for a pillar shall be the Most High's house.
It shall be the Most High's house, Yahweh's house, right? Read on.
And of all that thou shalt give me,
and out of all that the Most High shall give me. This is Jacob speaking. Everything you give me. What do we do? Read.
I will surely give the tenth. I
surely will give the tenth. Read on.
Unto thee.
So the understanding is this. I know there's different. I always blast on YouTube, and I should. But there's certain breakdowns out there, right, that tell you that you don't have to give the tenth. Right, the tenth is not required, or whatever the case may be. But when you analyze the scriptures, right, you realize that all the righteous gave the tenth in the scriptures. Whether you call it tithes or you call it, whatever you named it, the tenth was given. Okay, the righteous gave the tenth. What is the tenth? 10%. What is 10%? 10% of 100 is how much? Huh? All right. I'm just seeing who's with me here, who's here. All right? Right? The 10%. The 10th part. If you break it up in 10 parts, you take one of those 10 parts and you give it to the Most High. That's a requirement. Before we got the law of tithes, it was a requirement. It's from the beginning, right? We read Abraham gave Melchizedek the tenth, right? So I don't understand how the confusion comes to play with the tenth, right? But, the scriptures will make everything plain to see, okay? That the tenth was always required. Everybody understand this? Always required, okay? In your righteousness. At least. Some people get more than a tenth, right? But at least get a tenth. Okay. Now the churches pervert this, right? They take the tenth and they go party it up with your money. Right? The pastor get rich, flying a G4 or G5, whatever they call it, plane. Right? That's not what it's for. It's for the nation. Right? It's for the Most High's work to be done. So here Jacob letting us know that in all that thou hast done for me, I will give thee the tenth. Okay, he's establishing that right here. All right, let's read on. Any questions when it comes to the tenth or tithes or anything to that effect? And we can clarify it. All right. Matter of fact, hold that. Give me Malachi. Give me Malachi. Our sense of spirit. Let's get Malachi. Third chapter.
Start
at 7.
Start at 6.
Even better.
Yeah. The book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 6. Malachi, chapter 3 and verse 6.
Mm-hmm.
For I am the Most High, your power, I change not.
Right.
Therefore, ye sons of Jacob are not consumed.
Right. So he made these promises with Jacob, and he never will change them. What was established with Jacob will not be changed. Okay. He said, I change not. That means I don't change. This is why you Israelites are not consumed. That's why you still here. Because if he changed, trust me, one thing he would have changed was got rid of our disobedience. Right? There was a couple times in the time of Moses where he was like, listen, man, you want me to take them out? I'll kill all Israel for our disobedience. Right? But he doesn't change. All right, read on.
Even from the days of your fathers, ye are gone away from my ordinances, and have not kept them.
Come on.
Return unto me,
right?
And I will return unto you.
Right, so how do we return unto the Most High? By keeping his what? Lord said his ordinances, as the verse just told us. He said we went away from his ordinances. Right? If we left him by not following his ordinances, how do we come back to him? Follow his ordinances. Very simple. Right? Read on.
Even from the days of your fathers, ye are gone away from my ordinances, and and have not kept them.
Right.
Return unto me, and I will return unto you.
Right.
Saith the Most High of hosts.
Come on.
But ye said,
what they said?
Wherein shall we return?
How do we return? They said. So now he's going to give them an example on how to return. They said, where shall we return? Are you saying go back to Jerusalem? Pack our bags? What are you saying? Okay. He said, let me show you how to return. Now he's going to give an example on how to return. Read on.
Will a man rob the Most High?
He asked him, will a man rob the Most High? So I know they got them thinking. Read on.
Yet ye have robbed me.
Right.
Ye say, wherein have we robbed thee?
Right.
In tithes and offerings.
In what?
Tithes and offerings.
Right. So for us to return to the Most High, we have to what? What do we have to do? One of the things we have to do. Give tithes and offerings. It's real simple. We make it complex. We go into these extra long breakdowns to try to make it say something else. It's very simple. Following the Most High is the simplicity of the scripture that we have to concentrate on. The commandments is simple, it's straightforward. Right? Read on.
Ye are cursed with a curse.
Right?
For ye have robbed me, even this whole nation.
Even this whole nation. Right? We've cursed with a curse because we have robbed the Most High. The whole nation is done. Right? That includes us. That includes everybody. All inclusive, as they say. Read on.
Ye are cursed with a curse, for ye have robbed me, even this whole nation.
Mm-hmm.
Bring ye all the tithes into the storehouse, that there may be meat in my house.
Right?
And prove me now here with saith the Most High of hosts, if I will not open you the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing, that there shall not be a room enough to receive it.
Right, so right, like I said, the Christian church read this scripture and they try to pervert this word. But they said it's a storehouse. What is a storehouse? What do you do with a storehouse? Say you had a storehouse. What do you do with it? Store for who? For who? Who are you storing it for? You said for your family? All right. That's a good answer. Right? Right. You're storing it for yourselves. You benefit by what's being put in the storehouse. When you give, you benefit. You see, in the church system, they collect your tithes, but what? It don't go in no storehouse. Because you can't come back later to that church and say, hey, listen, man, I've been paying tithes. I need to borrow something, I need to owe something. All you're going to do is get his prayer. And I hope the Lord gets you a loan. And I'm going to pray a loan comes into your house. Right? What are you talking about? I've been giving my money. I ain't been giving. A true storehouse is there for the people that store the things in the house. So the way it's supposed to work is that you give the tent because that tent is there for you in the time of need. It's there for all of us in our time of need. Okay? We all bring the tent, and we all good. We go back to the storehouse, we look to see, okay, storehouse is built up. There's meat in my house, as the scripture says. That's what it's for. It's not for a pastor to get rich. It's not to make get lucrative, filthy lucre, take the money of the people. Right? They have what was that show? The pastors of
LA, right?
LA? Was it LA or was it Atlanta, right? I seen Atlanta. I didn't see the LA one. Pastors of Atlanta, they all got the big $1,000 shades on. I don't know what they trying to cover with them $1,000 shades. Right? They're the wickedness that's in their eyes. That's not what the tent is for. The tent is to have a storehouse. There you go. This man been collecting the tent. Put his picture up. Right? This guy, he been collecting the tent in so much that he got $1,000 suits on. Right? He's living it up off the tent. He's getting the 10 plus the 10. He's going in on the 10. Right? He's doing well with the 10th. Right? But that's not what the 10th is for. This is not what the 10th is for. This is folly and nonsense. All right? This man has learned his way from the devil, and he's doing quite well. Right? Following in his footsteps. Okay? Right? This is what you call a wolf in sheep clothing. All right? Writing books, telling a bunch of nonsense. Him and all his buddies, Steve Harvey, and the rest of them jokers. Right? They're not about the Most High yet. Right? What's that? Transform your life. Right? Give me your money. TV snakes. Right? So we gotta be mindful. Now I know the churches got us, you know, we suffer from a little PTSD, post-traumatic syndrome, because the church was taking your money and forcing. Now we come to the truth, our pocket's tight, man. You ain't gonna get me again. You know what I'm saying? We got that, you know, we've been that syndrome, we've been through something. I understand people been through things. They don't want to move. All right? But the scripture says, even if you lent a man money and he took your money, still lend. You know the scripture say that? Let's get that real quick. Even though it's another topic, but you know I like to bounce around a little bit. Get your pockets.
This guy, I'm gonna get a picture of him, Reverend Ike. He used to go out and tell the people, you want to continue seeing me look this good? Give me your money.
Give me your money.
Yeah. And they pass around, I've been to this church, they pass around the pot like this. And this pot is only for the hundreds. Yeah, the hundreds go first. Pass that around. Right. Then when that come back, now we're going for the 50s. Then the 50s go around. Then when they come back, okay, now we can give it to everybody else. You want to put 10, 20 or whatever.
Yeah, you ain't nobody.
Yeah. But he tell you straight.
But he ain't leaving $1 on the table.
He said, listen, if you can't, you want to continue to see me looking this good, give me your money. That's how they talk. And he tell you, you can't lose with the stuff I use. And this guy is driving a 1960 something, like maybe 67 Rolls Royce. Those are the classic ones. Those are the most expensive ones. Lime green. That's what he rolling in. And you taking the bus. And you still giving him your money. There you go. Our people, you know, we suffer, man.
Look at Ecclesiastes, the 29th chapter.
Yeah.
We can't let the things that we've been through in this world, the perversion of our word, stop us from fulfilling the word of the Most High. Yeah. We still got to fulfill. All right? We still got to fulfill. We got to act as if those things never came about. And we got to fulfill, you know, the law that's given unto us. Faithfully, trusting that the Most High will bless us. Okay? And that his word is law. All right, let's look at this. Ecclesiastes 29, verse 1.
So we have Ecclesiastes chapter 29 in the Apocrypha. It's page 88 if you have the red Apocrypha. Ecclesiastes chapter 29, verse 1. He that is merciful will lend unto his neighbor, and he that is strengtheneth his hand keepeth the commandments.
Right? He that strengtheneth his hand keepeth the commandment. Whose hand you strengthen? Your neighbors. So when you give the tenth, you're not giving the tenth for somebody else. You're giving it for your fellow family. Like Brother said, your family, Mishpachah, the family of Israel. Mashapakaf Yasharal, the family of Israel. Right? We know.
Lend to thy neighbor and thy in the time of his need.
Come on.
And pay thou neighbor again in due season.
Right. So if you borrow something, give it back in the time that you said you're going to give it back. And if your neighbor needs something, then lend it to him. Read on.
Keep thy word and deal faithfully with him.
Right, come on.
And thou shalt always find the thing that is necessary for thee.
That's what we got to learn. We got to keep our word and be faithful amongst each other. We can't be side-eyeing each other. Yeah, we family, but we side-eyeing. We don't trust each other. Okay? We got to trust the Most High that he brings what? Or the righteous together. Is this not a congregation of the righteous? Huh? Right? If you believe it's the congregation of the righteous, there should be no problem. All right? Read on.
Verse 4. Many, when a thing was lent them, reckon it to be found, and put them to trouble that help them.
Right. Sometimes we experience that in this world. You lend somebody something and you don't get it back. Right? I mean, who has not experienced that? I think everybody's been through that. You know, you forget about it, and they forget about it too. Yeah, whatever happened to you? Well, you know what? That brother still got my stuff, huh? He never called me, never nothing. You don't know where it came from.
Borrow your own stuff back.
You know? Did I get that back?
Can I borrow my shovel back?
Read on.
Verse 5. Till he have received, he will kiss a man's hand,
right,
and for his neighbor's money, he will speak submissively.
Come on.
But when he should repay, he will prolong the time.
Come on.
And return words of grief.
Oh, man, you know it's not a good time. You know it's not a good time. I got this issue, that issue, this situation, that situation. Right? Yeah, I know you looked out, but yeah, I ain't got it right now. Right? It's all right, bro. You ain't got it right now. They walk away, you look in the back, they put a fresh pair of Jordans on. Damn, you sneakers $250. And you only owe me $50. Right? So we understand that what? We have been through these things in the world, but now we come to truth. We got to learn how to trust God. Okay? That's going to build a nation. All right? Read on.
Verse 6. If he prevail, he shall hardly receive the half. And he will count as if he had found it. If not, he have deprived him of his money.
Right. If he can act like he found this money, he forgot who gave it to him, that's what he's going to do. He's going to move in that spirit. That's how we was in the world. All right. If you still got that spirit on you, you got to purge that out. You borrow something, you owe it. You owe it till you give it back. Right? You communicate with that person. You may not have it to give back right now, but you communicate. Let the person know, hey, listen, I ain't trying to game you, but this is what I got. I don't got it all, or here's a piece of something. Now, the brother want to let you be, they say, I'll not forget about it, then forget about it. But if he say, all right, we'll give that piece, and when you get the rest, come back and see me. It depends on that brother. Okay, read on.
And he have gotten him an enemy without cause.
Right, come on.
He payeth him with cursings and railings, and for honor he will pay him disgrace.
Right.
Many
now what? As I talking about, an argument not going to break out over it. So a lot of people say, well, I don't lend nobody nothing because I don't want to argue with nobody about no money. Well, it shouldn't come to an argument. If we the righteous, right? It should never come to an argument. You lend, you know you owe, pay back when you can. Okay? If you are unable to and you're sincere, it ain't going to be a problem. But we got to build back the trust in Israel. Everybody understand that? Read.
Verse 7. Many therefore have refused to lend for other men's ill healing.
That's why everybody gets tight now. Because they see things go down. Yeah, I heard, yeah. Brother said he used to give all his money to the church, and they just took his money, man. And then he had some situation, they ain't give him no money. I ain't giving the church nothing. What they got to do with you? Yeah, it might have happened to that brother. It happens. But that ain't got nothing to do with you. Your righteousness is according to what? What you do and don't do. We're supposed to learn according to the scriptures. Right? Put the scripture to the test. That's what he said. He said, put it to the test. Give the tenth and see if I don't multiply your months. He said, try me. Most I dared you to try me in Malachi. He said, see what I'll do for you. So if you don't do it anyway, now you don't trust the Most High because of what this brother or that sister did. That don't even make sense. Read on.
Verse 7. Many therefore have refused to lend for other men's ill dealing,
right?
Fearing to be defrauded.
Come on.
Yet have thou patience with a man in poor estate,
right?
And delay not to show him mercy,
right?
Help the poor for the commandment's sake,
right?
And turn him not away because of his poverty.
Come on.
Loose thy money.
Do what?
Loose thy money.
Repeat again.
Loose thy money.
Read on.
For thy brother and thy friend, and let it not rust under a stone to be lost.
Exactly. The Most High take it. All right? Said, lose thy money for thy friend, right? So look out for one another, right? And then all that whole spirit of giving, it starts with the 10th. It starts with the 10th. That's what Jacob was trying to show us. He said, man, I'm going to give the 10th to the Most High. That brings forth that spirit of giving. When you're used to giving, then you're going to give more and more. It becomes a trend. All right? If you're not used to giving, then it's hard. If you're worried about what else you could have done with these funds. All right? Read on.
Lay up thy treasures according to the commandments of the Most High, and it shall bring thee more profit than gold.
There it is. Come on.
Shut up arms in thy storehouses.
Right.
Deliver thee from all affliction.
Right. So we read about the storehouse, correct? So it says, shut up arms in the storehouse. Shut up your arms in the storehouse. I mean, give your arms so that they can be put in the storehouse. The storehouses are the what? Are the sanctuaries. Those are the storehouses. That's where you can go to seek refuge. That's where you can go, right? To come out of this world, to come into a righteous environment. Those are the storehouses all over the earth. All right? The storehouses. Okay? Read. All right, yeah, drop that. Let's go back.
Yeah, Genesis 29:1.
Okay.
The book of Genesis, chapter 29 and verse 1.
So everybody see what Jacob was talking about in 28:22 Genesis? When he gave the 10th, Con? All right, you gotta have clarity on that, because I know there's certain understandings out there. But they so conveniently don't go to this scripture. Okay? If you go to this scripture, it ends all that discontent or confusion when it comes to the 10th. Okay? It breaks all that confusion out of the king. All right, so as we know.
Then Jacob went on his journey and came into the land of the people of the east. And he looked, and behold, a well in the field, and lo, there were 3 flocks of sheep lying by it. For out of that well they watered the flocks, and a great stone was upon the well's mouth. And thither were all the flocks gathered, and they rolled the stone from the well's mouth, and watered the sheep, and put the stone again upon the well's mouth in his place.
Right.
And Jacob said unto them, my brethren, whence be ye? And they said, of Haran are we. And he said unto them, know ye Laban, the son of Nahor? And they said, we know him.
What is the relationship of Nahor to Sarah? We'll get them now. They see who've been following in these portions. Who knows your family? You gotta know your family tree. You know, you go to the family come to town and say, "Boy, this is your cousin." You know, you trying to figure out how is this person related to me? Who said it? I heard somebody say it. Who said it? I heard it in the back. Oh, they quiet now. Okay. What you said? Who's the whore? You can look. It's an open book test. All right.
The rock, I believe that was Abraham and Nahor. They were our brothers.
Right.
So Nahor would be anything, her brother-in-law.
A brother-in-law or a cousin, right? They were cousins. Remember, they were cousins. All right. So they were all cousins, going back to the families, the family tree. That's why he's asking for Laban and the family of Nahor, because those was his kinfolk. Those was his cousins, his family. Jacob a descendant of what? Of who? Isaac, right? Isaac went back to his family, his cousins, and took his wife what? Right? So now we're back, we're understanding this was done several times. Right? Just like Abraham, right? Sarah, right? We went through all these scriptures. They all were what? Kinfolk, family. So he kept going back to the family's area to reap their wives. All right, everybody understand that? All right, let's read on.
Genesis 29:6. And he said unto them, Is he well? They said, He is well. And behold, Rachel his daughter cometh with the sheep.
Right.
And he said, Lo, it is yet high day, neither is it time that the cattle should be gathered together. Order ye the sheep, and go and feed them. And they said, We cannot, until all the flocks be gathered together, until they roll the stone from the well's mouth. Then we water the sheep. Verse 9. And while he yet spake with them, Rachel came with her father's sheep, for she kept them. And it came to pass, when Jacob saw Rachel, the daughter of Laban, his mother's brother.
His mother's what?
His mother's brother.
His daughter of Laban, his mother's brother. Okay. So Laban was the brother of his mother, which would be his what? Your mother's brother is your what? Your uncle. That's right. Let's get it. Let's make sure we see in the family. You gotta see the family tree. Okay, you gotta see it. All right. As you read these things, you gotta bring understanding. All right, bring it to your understanding. So now that's his uncle. All right, read on.
Verse 10. And it came to pass, when Jacob saw Rachel, the daughter of Laban, his mother's brother.
So that would make Jacob and Rachel what to each other? Cousins, right? Read on.
And it came to pass, when Jacob saw Rachel, the daughter of Laban, his mother's brother, and the sheep of Laban, his mother's brother, that Jacob went near and rolled the stone from the well's mouth, and watered the flock of Laban, his mother's brother. And Jacob kissed Rachel and lifted up his voice and wept. And Jacob told Rachel that he was her father's brother, and that he was Rebekah's son. And she ran and told her father. Verse 13. And it came to pass, when Laban heard the tidings of Jacob, his sister's son, that he ran to meet him and embraced him and kissed him and brought him to his house. And he told Laban all these things.
Right.
Laban said unto him, Surely thou art my bone and my flesh. And he abode with him the space of a month.
Right. So what? We enjoy family. The family came in town. It was a great thing. Okay. A lot of times, when you come to this truth, we are separated from our families, right? Because our families, they tend to serve, this kingdom. Okay. This time of the year, a lot of maybe our families got together, but we were not present. Just checking. Right? We were not present. Why we weren't present? Because we have a new family in the Most High. This is your family. All right? Just like Mashiach told us, who is my brother, my mother, my sister, but those that follow my Father, that is what's in heaven. So this is your family. These are your cousins. Okay? Look around. Meet your cousins. Okay? Because you feel you got a whole room full of cousins right now. Right? This is your spiritual house. Your spiritual family. Look, hold that. We got to prove all things. Let's get Corinthians. 1 Corinthians, the spiritual house. Yes. It's coming to me. Spiritual house. I'll get it. Spiritual house, who knows that at? that verse. This was just give me that spiritual house. It says that.
We also, as living stones, are built up in the spiritual house.
Huh.
1 Peter 2:5.
1 Peter 2 and 5? Okay. 1 Peter 2 and 5.
First Peter chapter 2, verse 5.
You could probably start with 2 and 1. Or 2 and you see it? Yeah. Start with 1. Mm-hmm.
The book of 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 1. 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 1. Wherefore, laying aside all malice, and all guile, and hypocrisies, and envies, and all speakings, as newborn babies desire sincere milk of the word, that ye may grow thereby. If so be ye have tasted that the Most High is gracious, to whom coming as unto a living stone, disallowed indeed of men, but chosen of the Most High and precious.
All right, so disallowed of men, but chosen of the Most High and precious. So what? That shows that what this stone is what of the Most High. It is in righteousness. Men won't see this. Man's eyes say, well, you separate, you wrong, you this, you that. But if you're walking away the commandments, then what? You're accepted of the Most High. Men might reject you, but that's all right. All right, read on.
Ye also, as lively stones,
right,
are built up a spiritual house.
Right. Ye also, who's the ye? You are the ye. As lively stones have built up what? A spiritual house. Okay, you are that spiritual house. This is your house. These are your people. This is your family. Okay. Read on.
And holy priesthood.
A what?
A holy priesthood.
A holy priesthood. Knowing what? Laws, statutes, and commandments. Right? That's your household. Your household is full of priests. People who know the Most High, who know the word of Yah. Read on.
To offer up a spiritual sacrifices acceptable to the Most High by Hamashiach Yahushua.
That's right. Give me Ephesians 2 and 19. Ephesians 2 and 19. Right? Offering up acceptable sacrifices, man. We're doing our righteous works. Right? This is the household. Right? Read.
The book of Ephesians chapter 2, verse 19.
Uh-huh.
Now therefore ye are no more strangers and foreigners, but fellow citizens with the saints.
With the who?
Saints.
Who are the saints? Who are the saints? Israel, right? So that's your new family. Right? Read on.
Now therefore ye are no more strangers and foreigners, but fellow citizens with the saints, and of the household of the Most High.
And of the household of the Most High. So that's where your household lies. Your household is that of the Most High. All right? Give me our Galatians 6 and 10.
The book of Galatians chapter 6, verse 10. Galatians 6 and verse 10. As we have therefore opportunity, let us do good unto all men, especially unto them who are of the household of faith.
Right. Especially them of the household of faith. So now we understand what the Mashiach was talking about. Let's get at Matthew 12 and 48. What the Mashiach was talking about when he made this statement. Okay, this is your house. These are your cousins. See, in past times, we had a household that's where the righteous was. So we had to go back to our righteous household so we could have righteous marriages, to build righteous families. But now we go to what? Where those that have what? That have repented and come back to the Most High. That's where you dwell. That's where you build your households, your families. Okay. Read that.
Let's start at 46.
Okay.
Matthew 12, verse 46.
Come on.
Matthew 12 and verse 46. While he yet talked to the people, behold, his mother and his brethren stood without.
So now what? This is his biological mother and brethren. Right? His mother and his brothers biologically. Right? Read on.
While he yet talked to the people, behold, his mother and his brethren stood without, desiring to speak with him. Then one said unto him, behold, thy mother and thy brethren stand without, desiring to speak with thee. But he answered and said unto him that told him, who is my mother, and who are my brethren? And he stretched forth his hand toward his disciples and said, behold, my mother and my brethren. For whosoever shall do the will of my Father which is in heaven, right, the same is my brother and sister and mother.
That's it, man. So that's a new family. That's a new household. Everybody see that? That's your new household. That's your new family. So I said, look around, meet your cousins, your brethren, your brothers, your sisters, your fathers, right? Your uncles. You're sitting amongst them. Those that keep the Torah.
I want to ask a question. Check this out. He said these people are his brother and his mother actually came to, talk to him, right? If he was conceived by the angel, then who's his mother and who's his brother?
We know that's
a question, you know what I mean? Who's his brother? Who's his uncle?
We didn't have it. Answer is we didn't have it.
Okay.
All right.
I'm just thinking, that's all.
So we understand the spiritual house. So we went back. Let's go back to Genesis. So we looking at this time period, the time of Genesis, about a sheet that we went back to our family. He sent us back to our lineage. Why? Because our lineage was a lineage of the righteous. Okay, we didn't deal with the Canaanite women or the daughters of Heth and all that from the time of Abraham. We sought not to deal with these women, but deal with that lineage of righteousness. Now that lineage of righteousness is amongst our people that have what? That have repented and come into Torah. All right, but understand that? All right, let's go back.
Genesis 29:14. Genesis 29:14. And Laban said to him, surely thou art my bone and my flesh. And he abode with him the space of a month. And Laban said unto Jacob, because thou art my brother, shouldest thou therefore serve me for naught? Tell me, what shall thy wages be? And Laban said, and Laban had two daughters. The name of the elder was Leah, and the name of the younger was Rachel. Leah was tender-eyed, but Rachel was beautiful and well-favored.
Right, so Rachel was more beautiful than Leah and well-favored. Okay, I mean that what? She was well-known. Everybody liked her. All right, she had that personality too. Right? Everybody sought after Rachel. Okay,
And Jacob loved Rachel and said, I will serve thee 7 years for Rachel, thy younger daughter. Laban said, it is better that I give her to thee than that I should give her to another man. Abide with me. And Jacob served 7 years for Rachel, and they seemed unto him but a few days.
Right, so Laban saw that was a good thing. Better than you get her, then I got to give her to someone else. You know what I mean? So, as fathers, we know we have to give our daughters to somebody someday. Okay? We know that this has to take place. All right? Better that you give it to a man of righteousness than to, anybody else, or a man of the family of the righteous. Okay? You get that? Yeah, give me that. Go ahead.
And go to the book of Sirach, Ecclesiasticus, chapter 7 and verse 23. If you have the red apocrypha, it's page 74. Ecclesiasticus chapter 7, verse 23. Hast thou children? Instruct them, and bow down their neck from their youth. Hast thou daughters? Have a care of their body, and show not thyself cheerful toward them. Marry thy daughter,
right?
And so shalt thou have performed a weighty matter.
Right, so shalt thou have performed a weighty matter. What's a weighty matter? Something that's important. Something that will be on your mind. Something heavy on your mind. If you want your daughter to be married, onto what? Onto a righteous man. All right? You don't want her to just go out there. Our daughters are sent like sheep out to the slaughter. Go out there and find a husband somewhere. Right? So they come back with somebody, and now you want to disapprove. Right? Come back with 2 chains? Betty Wap, right? Right? They come back with some crowd, and now you upset. But the responsibility was that the parents were supposed to play a role in who their daughter is with. And they should want to see their daughter with a man of righteousness. But in this society, unfortunately, a lot of the parents, they have not kept the commandments of the Most High. So their mentality on who their daughter should be with is also misconstrued. Okay, you just say something? A question? Yeah.
So a man understands it.
That's right. That's right. And understands the commandments of the Most High. Understand that he's not a black. He's not a Negro. Okay. Man of wisdom. All right. Part of it is that he knows he is Israel. He keeps the commandments. Right. But a man of good behavior. But sometimes you could know the commandments. You can know you're Israel, but you can still be off the chain. Trust me. Right. Right? You have to be a man of all these things. All right? And that's who you want to give your daughter over to. Read on.
Marry thy daughter, and so shalt thou have performed a weighty matter.
Right?
But give her to a man of understanding.
Right? But give her to a man of understanding. Very important. Okay. All right. That's verse 25 in chapter 7 of Ecclesiastes. All right, give her to a man of understanding. Yeah, that's all that. So just making sure that this is how, as a righteous generation who's raising children, this is how we go forward. What was done in the past, we can't do nothing about that. Okay, you cannot, I'll give you watch Back to the Future or whatever. You can't do nothing that happened already about what happened already. Or you can build forward and do righteously with the instruction that you're given by way of the commandments. Okay, fulfill that weighty matter. Just like here, Jacob went back to the family, and Laban is saying, you know what, better that is you because you are a righteous stock. I know your parents, I know your family, they're righteous. I know where you're coming from, right? I know the mentality of your people. I know I'm giving my daughter over to a just man. Okay, so let's go back.
Genesis 29:20. Genesis 29:20. Jacob served 7 years for Rachel, and they seemed unto him but a few days, for the love he had to her.
Right.
And Jacob said unto Laban, give me my wife, for my days are fulfilled, that I may go in unto her.
Right, that I might go in unto her. So what does he want to do? He wants to marry her. Right? He wants to consummate the marriage. Now he already was promised, so it is his wife, because it was promised by her father unto him. But now what? He has to consummate, he has to seal this marriage. Okay? How is that done? That's done when they lie in the bedchamber. All right, when they have intercourse, that consummates, that seals the marriage. Okay, if that doesn't take place, then the marriage is not yet sealed. All right, it is promised. Okay, hold that. In the Exodus. Yeah, 2016. 22:16.
Yeah.
22:16.
The book of Exodus, chapter 22, verse 16. Exodus 22, verse 16. And if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed, and lie with her, he shall surely endow her to be his wife.
Right. So this is a different incident. This is if the man meet, right, or the man meets the woman, right, entices her and lies with her, right? That means what? It consummates the marriage. He still has to do the former things, which is what? The endowment. But the right order of getting it done, right, is deal with the endowment first. And that's what Jacob did with Laban. He dealt with the endowment first. And then lay with him, right? But say you lay with the woman, you can't say, oh, I lay with her, I guess I don't got to do the endowment because I already lay with her. It don't work that way. Now you have to still fulfill the endowment. You still have to go back now and endow this woman to be your wife. Everybody see that? That means all parts have to be fulfilled still. You can't just say, I did the latter, so I don't got to do the former. Right? You do it in a different order, but it all still got to be done. Right? You know?
If her father utterly refused.
Because what can happen is that you can be refused. Because ultimately, until that father gives you or promises you onto that daughter, that's where the deal goes down for the woman. Between the man and the between the father and the husband to be. That's where the deal goes down of marriage. If he refuses you, you know.
If her father utterly refused to give her onto him,
right,
he shall pay money according to the dowry of virgins.
Right, so he still has to what? Pay for the fact that he took the daughter's virginity. Okay, because that nothing is free. All right, so get Deuteronomy 22nd chapter and the 13th verse.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 22, verse 13.
Mm-hmm.
Deuteronomy, chapter 22 and verse 13. If any man take a wife and go in unto her.
And do what?
Go in unto her.
Right, so this is what Jacob said he wanted to, for Laban to give him Rachel, that I might go in unto. What is it talking about? Consummating the marriage. Making the marriage complete. All right, read.
And hate her.
Right? So in this situation, he went into her and he hated her. I mean that what? He brought up an accusation against her. Right? Read on.
And give occasion of speech against her.
Right?
And bring up an evil name upon her.
Right?
And say, I took this woman, and when I came to her, I found her not a maid.
Right. So he said what? She was not a virgin. Somebody's been here. That's basically what he's saying. All right? It is what he's saying. He's saying, yeah, he said, this is not right. Somebody's been here, right? Read on.
Then shall the father of the damsel and her mother take and bring forth the tokens of the damsel's virginity unto the elders of the city in the gate. And the damsel's father shall say unto the elders, I gave my daughter unto this man to wife.
Right, so what? This is how it's supposed to go. He's supposed to be able to speak for his daughter. The father is supposed to be able to speak for his daughter's virginity. Okay? This is our society. This is how we build our society. This is where the Most High showed us a righteous society is supposed to interact. That the father is supposed to be able to speak for his daughter's virginity. Okay? Now we know in the society we're living in, you know, usually the parents is at work and the children go off and do whatever they do. Come back and it's already deed is done. Right? But that's wicked. Okay? According to the commandments, we're supposed to speak of that day. We're supposed to know of that day. Okay? We're supposed to be the one that make that day possible as parents. Okay? Read on.
Verse 16, Deuteronomy 22:16. And the damsel's father shall say unto the elders, I gave my daughter unto this man to wife, and he hated her. And lo, he hath given occasion of speech against her, saying, I have found not thy daughter a maid, and yet these are the tokens of my daughter's virginity. And they shall spread the cloth before the elders of the city, and the elders of that city shall take that man and chastise him. And they shall immerse him in 100 shekels silver, and give them unto the father of the damsel, because he had brought up an evil name upon a virgin of Israel.
Right?
And she shall be his wife. He may not put her away all his days.
Right, so he can never come back with that nonsense again. Okay? And they shall immerse the father in silver, so as a form of what? Of apology. For them bringing up this running accusation against his daughter, a daughter of Israel. Because remember, our daughters are our direct daughters, but they're also the daughters of the nation. Right? So, yeah, they're our direct children, but our children belong to the nation. And we have to deal with them as such. As you belong to the nation, you belong to the Most High. I can't deal with you outside of the way the Most High said to deal with you. Or I'm being demonic. I'm being wicked. Because you ultimately belong to the Father, which belongs to the nation, right? Even though you come from my loins, you also are connected to the nation. Okay, so the daughters of Israel were to be dealt with a certain way. Okay, right? This is our society running in righteousness. Now we know we've learned the ways of the white man, the other nations. So all kind of matters of fornication and wickedness is going on amongst our people. But we are the generation to break that. We should be trying our hardest to break that cycle for our children, that they do what is right in the eyes of the Most High. Come? All right, let's go back. Nah. All right, go ahead, finish.
Verse 20. But if this thing be true, and the tokens of virginity be not found for the damsel,
right,
then they shall bring out the damsel to the door of the father's house, and the men of her city shall stone her with stones, that she die.
Right.
Because she had wrought folly in Israel.
Come on.
To play the whore in her father's house.
Right.
So shalt thou put evil away from among you.
Right. So, it can go wrong. You see Maury, right? Not the father, right? So it can go wrong. You could be being lied to. She could have hid and went off and did whatever. Well, we have a way of dealing with that too. So we have a just power. Our commandments are just. Our statutes are right. So they're not one way. They cover all angles of judgment. Okay? If he's wrong, he's going to get chastised. If she's wrong, that means she committed fornication or committed whoredoms in her father's house, and that is worthy of death. Okay, so understand that we're the grace and mercy, and that we're underneath now saves our lives from the foolishness that we have done, right? On this earth. Everybody understand that? So we are all under the grace and mercy of the Most High Yahweh. Okay, but if not, it'll be a lot of headstones, right? A lot of piles of rocks, right? So we are definitely grace and glorious in the eyes of the Most High for him to give forth, his mercy without measure unto Israel. But that doesn't make it not sin. We have to then now read this and follow suit. Okay, make the necessary changes, not in ourselves, in our children. All right. So let's go back to Genesis.
Genesis 29 and 22. verses 29 and 22.
Mm-hmm.
And Laban gathered together all the men of the place and made a feast. And it came to pass in the evening that he took Leah, his daughter, and brought her to him. And he went in unto her. And Laban gave unto his daughter Leah Zilpah, his maid, for a handmaid.
Right. So, as you can see, he asked for Rachel, but who went on to Jacob? Leah, right? That was not Rachel that went there. That was Leah, right? Leah was what? The elder daughter. Okay. The tender-eyed one, because you want to bring that up, right? One that was tender-eyed, right? He went on. She went in on to him, and he laid with her. What was that dinner? He said he made a dinner. Why did he make a dinner? What is that called today? A what? Reception, right? That's what we did. We had our weddings were a celebration. Okay, marriage should be celebrated, right? That's a glorious thing, right? It's not nothing that's bad. Or, oh man, I when they got married. It's a beautiful thing, right? It's something to celebrate. Two families have been connected, cousins have come, families have been brought together. The nation is rising. Okay, good. Absolutely. Part of that, well, getting there. Part of that ceremony is what? The issues and the certificate of marriage. Let's prove that. All right, let's get the book of Tobit. In the book of Tobit, get the 7th chapter and start with 13th verse.
The book of Tobit and the Apocrypha, we have the Red Apocrypha, is page 39. Tobit chapter 7, verse 13. Then he called his daughter Sarah, and she came to her father, and he took her by the hand and gave her to be wife to Tobias.
Right, so what? The father gives his daughter to the husband. So this is what was going down in the dinner. Take her by the hand, say, you are now his wife. Because it's a transition of power over that daughter, over that woman. Right? The father is given authority over that woman to the husband. Because prior to the husband having authority, who had authority over the daughter? The father. All right? So he's the one that's passing on the authority. That's why, even to this day, in the traditions of weddings, right, who goes down the aisle and gives the daughter away? The father, right? This is where they get it from. Even though they pervert the word and add a whole bunch of other stuff in there, but it's really the father that marries off his daughter, gives his daughter away. Okay, read on.
Behold, take her after the law of Moses.
Right, take her after the law of Moses. Okay. What does the law of Moses say about marriage? That what? You lay with this woman, you will be with this woman for how long? All right, that's the law of Moses. Right? You take this woman, you be with this woman forever. Okay, read on.
And lead her away to thy father, and he be blessed. And he blessed them. And called Eden his wife, Edna, his wife, and took paper and did write an instrument of covenants and sealed it.
Right, an instrument of covenants. What's a covenant? An agreement. What is the agreement saying here? It's saying that what? That you can't go after the law of Moses, right? That the father has given this woman to be wife unto this man. And he is to take this woman after the law of Moses. Meaning that what? It ain't supposed to be for fornication. It ain't supposed to deal with this woman according to the commandments. according to a daughter of Zion, a daughter of Israel. Okay? Matter of fact, let's jump down and read, let's get a little understanding of what that means by the law of Moses. Go to the prayer that Tobias turn to the Most High. The verse, chapter 8. Verse 7. Read verse 7. Matter of fact, read verse 6. Matter of fact, start with verse 5. Sorry. Verse 5. 5, 6, and 7. Read verse 5, 6, and 7.
Book of Tobit, chapter 8, verse 5. Then began Tobias to say, Blessed art thou, O Yahweh, of our fathers, and blessed is thy holy and gracious name forever. Let the heavens bless thee, and all thy creatures. Thou madest Adam, and gavest him Eve, his wife, for a helper and stay.
Right, so what is the job of the woman? To be a what? A helper and a what? What's a stay? Huh? Wait, what's a stay? Permanent. There's a little bit more to being a stay. A helper and a stay. What's a stay? What does a stay do? A stay is one that builds the house. We're going to it, more in depth, but it's one that builds the house. A stay is one that takes care of the home. Okay, wherever the home might be, whether the home is a palace or it's a Winnebago, right? The stay is one that takes care of a. Wait, I may not know what a Winnebago is. No, or a minivan. Whatever the stay is, whatever you stay, wherever your home is, that's what the stay takes care of. She takes care of the home, the children, right? A helper and a stay. A stay is one that takes care of the home. Everybody understand that? So she's to be a helper and a stay to take care of the home, wherever the home is. All right, read.
Tobit chapter 8, verse 6. Thou madest Adam and gavest him Eve, his wife, for an helper and stay. Of them came mankind. Right? Thou hast said, It is not good that man should be alone. Let us make unto him an aid like unto himself.
Right, come on.
And now, O Yahweh, I take not this my sister for lust,
right?
But uprightly, therefore mercifully, ordain that we may become aged together. And she said with him, Amen.
Right, so that's a covenant right there. She said with him, Amen. She agreed that she will be what? A helper and a stay and an aid, and that they will go aged together, meaning that what they will be together for their day. This is what all part of the covenant of marriage is. That it reflects the law of Moses, the law that was given to us by Moses, that speaks of Abraham, of Adam and Eve, okay, and the laws of marriage, okay. So that's why this is how we marry in Israel, okay. We don't marry for convenience, for financials, as they do in this society, okay. They marry for all different types of reasons, but these are the reasons we marry in Israel. Why? Because our marriages are according to Torah. Everybody understand that? That's the kind of marriages we're going to have here in Israel, according to Torah and the righteousness of marriage. Okay, so let's go back now.
In Genesis 29 and 23. Genesis 29 and 23. And it came to pass in the evening that he took Leah, his daughter, and brought her to him. And he went in unto her. And Abraham gave unto his daughter Leah Zilpah, his maid, for a handmaid.
Right, for a assistant to his daughter, That's what Zilpah was to be, to aid his daughter in anything and everything his daughter needs assistance to. All right, read.
And it came to pass that in the morning, behold, it was Leah, and he said to Laban, what is this that thou hast done unto me? Did not I serve with thee for Rachel? Wherefore then hast thou beguiled me? And Laban said,
he said, why have you tricked me? So didn't I come here for Rachel? I asked you for Rachel. What has thou done unto me? Okay. You brought me Leah. Now, mind you, he laid with Leah, right? And I mean, at some point in time, he could have realized this was not Rachel. Maybe it was the Yaya, the blends. Could be the blends. Who knows? Don't blame it on the blends. Right? At some point in time, you may have realized this is not Rachel, but he lied with Leah steadfast anyway. Okay. Mind you now, he looked forward to laying with Rachel and to consummate this marriage, right? We don't.
6. Laban said, it must not be so done in our country to give the younger before the firstborn.
Right, so what? The older daughter is supposed to be married first. So Laban is saying, no, I gave you Leah because she needs to be married first. You can't marry the younger daughter and the older daughter single. All right, this is something that was a culture amongst our country, right? That you had your daughters and you married them as you had them, right? Read on.
27. Fulfill her week, and we will give thee this also for the service which thou hast served with me. Right. 7 other years.
Right. He said, fulfill a week, meaning 7, right? And I will give you Rachel also. Okay, I will give you Rachel also. All right, so they said, no, ain't no big problem here. You're going to get Rachel anyway. But the elder had to marry before the younger. Okay, so he was trying to fulfill that, not trying to deprive him of Rachel. So you get Rachel also. Okay? Right? And you got to fulfill a week. You got to fulfill another 7. But he didn't have to wait for the 7 for Rachel. Wait, we'll see. You'll see.
Verse 28. And Jacob did so, and he fulfilled her week.
Right?
And he gave him Rachel, his daughter, to wife also. And Laban gave to Rachel, his daughter, Bilhah, his handmaid, to be her maid.
Right.
And he went in also unto Rachel, and he loved also Rachel.
Right. He loved also Rachel. Now, according to the scriptures, can a man love more than one woman? Because a lot of times it's written, it's understood that, he didn't love Leah. But the scripture said he loved Rachel also. So then how did he feel about Leah? He loved Leah and he loved Rachel also. So he was capable of loving his 2 wives. Everybody see that? So let's not get any misunderstanding when it comes to scripture and what the Father has brought forth. A man is able to love both his wives. Everybody understand that? All right. Read on.
And he went in also unto Rachel, and he loved also Rachel more than Leah.
Right. Yeah, he loved her more. Don't get me wrong. That's what he was after. I ain't saying he loved the same amount. All right. All that same amount or measuring how much love is inside the cup. We don't get into that. Right? How he felt about Rachel, meaning that he had different feelings, but he loved them both. Right? He had different feelings for Rachel than Leah, but he loved them both. Okay? That's the understanding. Right? He did not hate Leah. Right? He didn't go around, I'm stuck with Leah. Looking at her like a bitter towards Leah. It wasn't that spirit. Right? He wasn't that spirit. He loved Leah, but he loved Rachel more. Rachel was more more of a match, whatever the case may be. He was more attentive to Rachel. That's all. But there's no unrighteousness in these actions. That's the point that we trying to show you, that there's no unrighteousness here. This is all in righteousness. Okay? There's no sin in the midst of this. Okay, in the midst of this marriage. There's no sin. Okay? All right? And this society will have you believe that this was wrong. This would be considered in the U.S. courts. This would even be considered what do you call it again? No. Bigamous, right?
No.
It wouldn't be polygamy in this country because they don't allow polygamy, huh?
Right.
Bigotry.
Yeah, bigotry.
Bigamy is when you have two marriage licenses.
Yeah.
But that's what he has. So then he's bigamy, right?
Right.
Right, bigamy. That's the right word. Bigamy. Right, we consider bigamy and just against the law. You can get locked up.
They put you in jail.
You can get locked up for fulfilling the law of the Most High God in this society. That's how wicked this kingdom is. That it will lock you behind up because you got two wives. But yet, Tommy can marry Philip. And they can go get adopt children. And Susie can marry Jennifer, and they can adopt children. But you can't fulfill the law of the Most High and legally marry your wives. That's an abomination. That's an abomination. Okay. That shows you that the law of this land is perverted against the laws of the Heavenly Father.
That's right.
Okay. This is a legal, binded, certificate marriage between Jacob and Leah and Jacob and Rachel. Ordained by the Father, their Father, and the Father. No unrighteousness here. No sin here. Okay. So we have to be mindful of what we call good and bad or right and wrong. Okay. Hold that quickly. Give me Isaiah, the 5th chapter. You know how I'm going.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 5, verse 20.
Come on.
Oh, Isaiah 5 and verse 20. Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil.
Right. Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil. All right. We have to be mindful. You see a man have his wives, you call that evil. You got to be mindful of that. Woe unto you, according to the scriptures. What does woe mean in the scriptures? Destruction. Okay. So we have to be mindful of this. All right. The warnings that come out by way of the scriptures is to help us grow in the spirit. Okay. The Father had put that spirit of warning on us. Said, listen, be careful what you say. Right? And what you say is what you think. Right? Most people say what's on their mind. Right? So now you gotta be careful what you're thinking. Right? We don't know what you're thinking. We're not mind readers, but what comes out your mouth is a reflection of what's in your head. Everybody understand that? So let your speech always be seasoned with salt, with the edification of the Most High. Right? So we don't want to be saying things that's wicked. All right, read that verse again.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 5, verse 20. Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil.
Read.
That put darkness for light and light for darkness.
Right, and say something is wrong and wicked and dark when it's right. It's light. Scriptures say woe unto you. Read on.
That put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter.
Come on.
Woe unto them that are wise in their own eyes.
They're wise in what?
In their own eyes.
Have a law of their own mate, of their own mind. Wise in their own eyes. Read on.
And prudent in their own sight.
And prudent in their own sight. Come on.
Woe unto them that are mighty to drink wine.
That's it on that. So let's go back to Genesis. All right. So we just got to be mindful of that. You know, the warning is made forward, is went forward. We don't want to be caught doing these things. Because the scriptures say, woe unto us. All right. So all marriages that are according to the laws of the statute and commandments of the Most High are blessed in the eyes of the Heavenly Father. Come. Let's read on.
Genesis 29, verse 30.
Come.
And he went in also unto Rachel.
Right.
And he loved also Rachel more than Leah.
Right.
And served with him yet 7 other years.
Right. So when it says fulfill her week, what does that mean? When he had to fulfill her week before he lay with with Rachel. How long period was that? 7 days. That's all it was. And then he married Leah. He fulfilled a week with Leah, and then married Rachel 7 days later. But then continued to work 7 years to work off the fact that he had Rachel also to wife. Okay, so that's what the scriptures say. He didn't work again and wait another 7 years to marry Rachel. He sat there, he married Leah, fulfilled the week of Leah, and then he married Rachel. Okay, and then they all worked the next 7 years in Laban's house. Everybody see that? All right, hallelujah. Let's read on.
It was a honeymoon.
Honeymoon, the week. He was with her for a week. You know, means 7 days. Week. You can gather that from that scripture. You know what I mean? I would think there's a time period because there's no actual law on how long, but there is a law of saying once a man marries a woman, then he's supposed to get time off. Right? He's supposed to get time off to deal with that woman and then go back to his former duties or something. Things like that. Huh?
So they were taking days off.
They take too many days off already. That's the problem, right, in Israel. But yeah, you're supposed to take time off with that woman, marry that woman, take some time with her. Whether it be this, it says in Laban's house it was a week. Okay, fulfill her week, fulfill her time. Let her have her marriage her week, right? And then you can marry Rachel after that.
The scripture told 8.
I was thinking about that too. I know where you're going. Yeah. Yeah. Let's go back to Tobit. It does address the week in Tobit. I was just thinking that. Where did I see that week before? There you go. That's even 2 weeks now. All right, let's read that. Yeah.
8 and 20, right?
Yeah, it's over 19.
19. We're in Tobit chapter 8, verse 19.
That's an extended one.
That was a special wedding, man. That was a hard daughter to marry. I tell you that much. He went through a lot. But, you know,
We have Tobit chapter 8, verse 19. We have the Red Apocrypha, page 40. And he kept the wedding feast 14 days.
Mm-hmm.
For before the days of the marriage were finished, is that right, well?
Mm-hmm.
Had said unto him by an oath that he should not depart till 14 days of the marriage were expired.
Right, so here the marriage was 14 days. Okay. The feast, the celebration was 14 days. Okay, you know.
And then he should take the half of his goods and go in safety to his father. Go in safety to his father, and should have the rest, and then should have rest. Have the rest when I and my wife be dead.
Right, so he'd be good. So he said 14 days was taken. Okay, so that's like the marriage, the reception, the honeymoon, all that. The 14 days, right?
Like Johan said, you see the first reference, a week
Mm-hmm.
in Genesis.
Mm-hmm.
It said here, 20, and before the days of the marriage were finished, that first week.
That first week, right.
Extended.
Okay,
And here, 2 weeks.
right. So
But
you
even
can say it's a precedent then that it's a week you take off, you know, when you get married, you marry your wife. So you get that week off. You know what I mean? And I believe even in this society, when somebody get married in certain companies, right, they give you that week because they, you know, a lot of the things that Esau does, the foundation of it is our law. You know what I mean? And then he perverts into his own way. But the foundation of a lot of his reasoning is our law. You know what I mean? Because our law is the foundation of all civilization on the earth. They take our law and they pervert it into what they want to make it up. All right, so that week should be a week is a precedent. You know what I mean? Being understood.
I know the maternity leave.
Another company I know of, they get company when they get married, but you got to submit that certificate. And married, you get the week off. Company actually I work for, so I was aware of it. But then again, the owner of that company was Amalek. Maybe it was because of the description. I don't know. Probably was that. Yeah.
Based on what you see here, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you read the 7th chapter, the father and the groom had their own feast. You know, had a feast that was covenant, stuff like that. Then the mother made the bed chamber, they consummated. Then they had the feast.
Right. Right.
So the consummation become before they have that wedding ceremony. You on down here.
Right. That's the same in Genesis because he said after in the morning, he said fulfill her the week. So you already consummated with her, fulfill the week, and then he was able to marry Rachel.
Right.
So then it's the same in both set of verses that they laid together. Then the week came about. Right?
What about in the book of Deuteronomy? Said, man, you might not go to war, leave it to start the business, because they be at home 1 year.
Right, in war times. Right, in war times. Right, certain laws were set before us in war times, because when we went to war, did we go to war from 8 to 4 and then come back home? No, we went to war. We was gone. We weren't coming back. You know, you don't know when you're coming back. Like the troops leave off today in the army. They say, all right, I'm going to Iraq. When you coming back? When I get sent back. Right? So that's why they gave the year off, because what was supposed to happen that year? What was supposed to happen that first year? What are you supposed to do? Conceive a child. Bring forth seed. All right, that's why you got that year off, so you can bring forth seed. Right? See your child born and then now you can go, because now you have seed. Right? So that's what that would be. That year was given for in wartime. In case you don't make it back. Now you know your brother looking at your wife. You know, like that, man. You ain't got seed, so you got to make sure you plant seed, right?
Even though they'll be state when man's taking a life war, then it got a comment say neither shall he be charged with any business as well.
Right.
So what about the business part? Because speaking of war and business.
Needs to be charged with any business. Well, any business that would take him away from his wife. You know what I mean? Because it might not be war, but it might be some sort of business that takes him away. The point, the understanding of that law is that he is not to be taken away from this woman, right? So that he can then what? Consummate and have a child with this woman. You know what I mean? And now he can go do whatever business he wants to do. So I say he got to sit up under the wife for a whole year, like sit in the room with her. And we got a year. What are you gonna do? No, he got stuff to do, but as long as he's around, he's there. You know what I mean? But he can't be charged with. Because sometimes it wasn't war. It could have been, a travel that need to be done that take the space of a year to make this travel. He can't get that business. You know what I mean? He can't be taken away, right? Until that year is fulfilled.
Okay. You say that, so this happens when you have 2 wives. You ain't gonna deal with your first wife for a whole year. Like, you know what I'm saying? So you still have to deal with your first wife. You ain't gonna be able to do that now because it's gonna say well I'm not gonna go to work or make no money. You know what I'm saying? Just use that script. I think over here, and I'm like, okay, well I don't have to do no business for a whole year. I ain't gonna do that.
So you still got to take care of whatever responsibilities you were taking care of prior to. All right, but just can't be taken away, right?
If it is, you want to
Says.
Oh, you're talking about take on the duty. You have to take on the duty.
Right. Oh, right. How something need to be fulfilled. Right. Right.
Even in society, have like travel assignments. You get a contract. You go away for 3 months, 4 months, 6 months. So
right.
This basically means that you can't be involved in something that will be a long distance.
Exactly. Exactly. It's simple. The scriptures, it's like I said, the simplicity of the law. It's kind of clear. Why would it be a year? What takes a year? Right? It takes the time to what? To consummate, to for the wife to conceive, bear that child. You know what I mean? In the space of a year. 9 months or 10 months is in the womb, but you have to then, there's a time that it takes to conceive that child. Right? And then to see that child born, spend a little time, see your child, and now you're ready to go do whatever business if you gotta leave. You gotta leave out of town, you gotta go away for a while. So that's what that year is talking about. I'm talking about you can't go to work, you can't do anything that you're still, around, you're still in the midst. Right? I can't go to camp for a year. Yeah, right. You better be back in camp the next. You got 1 week out, and I'm gonna see you next week. All right, 14 days. It was a rough situation. Absolutely. What does that want? If you marry your wife, you're laying with her, right? Right? You marry a wife, you're laying with her, right? You're having intercourse with this woman, right? Intercourse brings forth children. Okay? Now, that's up to the Most High when this child comes about. But had it be blessed of the Most High, yeah, hopefully you bring forth that child speedily, especially if you got business to attend to that's out of town, right? But you can't determine when a woman is gonna conceive. No one can determine that. That's in the hands of the Most High, yeah, right? So unless you are, altering the hand of the Most High somehow, using some sort of, birth control to that effect, right? Now you're altering the control of the Most High, yeah. But other than that, you don't have control. You do what married people do. Scriptures say the pleasure that comes with sleep, right? And children come out of that situation, all right? That's the way the Most High designed this. So we don't want to put all the control in our hands. Most High, we got to trust in Him. Con? All right, so it is 3:19, 3:20. I went over 20 minutes before the break. So we're going to take the break right now for half an hour, and then we'll come back and continue in the word of Yah. Hallelujah. Yeah. Huh? It's 3 o'clock, but then you give a precepts too. You already giving precepts too. What you mean you ain't giving no precepts? You ain't a precept. You add it on. Oh man, that's so hot.
Got all the questions, the 3 and all.
All right.